Hi there, Finnish language learners, and welcome to study verb types. There are 6 of them, and we will cover them all in this Finnish lesson number 21. Let's get started. Verbs in verb type 1 end in 2 vowels, the latter being a or a. This is the most common verb type in Finnish, and it has many verbs. Here are some common ones. To ask, kysyä, to give, antaa, to know, tietää, to read, lukea, to speak, puhua, to take, ottaa. As you can see, all the verbs end in 2 vowels, and the last vowel is either a or a. The ending depends on the vowel harmony. If you are not sure what that is, I'll link another video here. Let's read the verbs in Finnish once again. Kysyä, antaa, tietää, lukea, puhua, ottaa. The conjugation of the verbs is not difficult. First, you take out the last vowel of the verb, for example, the verb puhua. You'll take the last a out. After that, you'll add the corresponding ending to each verb, and we'll end up with minä puhun, I speak, sinä puhut, you speak, hän puhuu, he or she speaks, me puhumme, we speak, te puhutte, you speak, he puhuvat, they speak. Let's read these in Finnish once again. Minä puhun, sinä puhut, hän puhuu, me puhumme, te puhutte, he puhuvat. Finally, let's take an example sentence of each verb type to help you remember them better. Our sentence for verb type 1 is I speak some Finnish. Puhun jonkin verran suomea. Puhun jonkin verran suomea. Some verbs in verb type 1 undergo KPT gradation. This is called astevaihtelu or KPT-vaihtelu in Finnish. Basically, the verb stem and the consonants K, P, T often change when we add endings to a word. The word form is called strong if the word has more consonants K, P or T in it. And the form which has less K, P, T is called weak, heikko. For example, he sleeps, hän nukkuu, has 2 Ks, and I sleep, minä nukun, has only 1 K. In this case, hän nukkuu with double K represents the strong gradation, and I sleep, minä nukun, with only 1 K is the weak form. In verb type 1, the strong form with more K, P or T is always the infinitive, the third person singular, and the third person plural. Another example of this would be the verb to know, tietää. Here you can see that the strong form, the one with more T, is in the same forms as mentioned before. The infinitive, third person singular, and third person plural. Let's read these in Finnish. Nukkua. Nukun, nukut, hän nukkuu. Nukumme, nukutte, he nukkuvat. Tietää. Tiedän, tiedät, hän tietää. Tiedämme, tiedätte, he tietävät. Gradation is a typical feature of the Finnish language. If you want to know more about it, I'll link a more detailed video for you to study. In that one I have covered all the possible consonant changes. But now we are moving towards verb type 2. This verb type has no KPT gradation. The basic form ends in da or da. For example, to bring, tuoda. To drink, juoda. To park, pysäköidä. To sell, myydä. To stay, jäädä. To take, viedä. Let's read these verbs in Finnish once again. Tuoda, juoda, pysäköidä, myydä, jäädä, viedä. And again, to conjugate these verbs in each person, you'll use their personal endings. First, we'll remove the ending da or da, and then we'll add the personal endings. Let's read these together. Minä juon, sinä juot, hän juo. Me juomme, te juotte, he juovat. The example sentence for verb type 2 is I drink a lot of water. Juon paljon vettä. Juon paljon vettä. There are some exceptions to the conjugation of verb type 2 verbs. These include two very common verbs, to see, nähdä, and to do, tehdä. Let's read these together in Finnish. First, the verb to see. Minä näen, sinä näet, hän näkee. Me näemme, te näette, he näkevät. And then the verb to do or to make. Minä teen, sinä teet, hän tekee. Me teemme, te teette, he tekevät. Let's take one more example sentence of verb type 2. I work a lot. Teen paljon töitä. Teen paljon töitä. And then let's move on to verb type 3. The basic form in these verbs ends in la or la, na or na, ra or ra, or sta or sta. For example, to come, tulla, to get up, nousta, to go, mennä, to listen, kuunnella, to mourn, surra, to smile, hymyillä. Let's read these once again in Finnish. Tulla, nousta, mennä, kuunnella, surra, hymyillä. When conjugating verb type 3 verbs, first remove the ending and then add an additional vowel, e, that is e in Finnish. After that, you can add the personal endings as usual. For example, to study, opiskella. We'll take away the ending first, and then after that we'll add the additional vowel e. And we are left with minä opiskelen, sinä opiskelet, hän opiskelee. Me opiskelemme, te opiskelette, he opiskelevat. The example sentence for verb type 3 is I study Finnish. Opiskelen suomea. Opiskelen suomea. Next, let's take a look at the gradation in verb type 3. And this is how it looks. Verb type 3 consonant gradation takes place in all the conjugated forms. The infinitive of the verb, the basic form, will always be weak, while every conjugated form will be strong. For example, to think, ajatella. The infinitive has only one T and all the other forms have 2 T's. Let's read these ones together. Ajatella. Ajattelen. Ajattelet. Hän ajattelee. Ajattelemme. Ajattelette. He ajattelevat. Next, let's see verb type 4. The verbs in verb type 4 end in a vowel plus ta or tä. For example, to be afraid of, pelätä. To clean, siivota. To meet, tavata. To open, avata. To promise, luvata. To wake up, herätä. Let's read these verbs together in Finnish. Pelätä, siivota, tavata, avata, luvata, herätä. To conjugate these verbs, we'll remove the ending ta or tä, and then we'll add a vowel a or ä. And after that, we'll add the personal ending. For example, the verb haluta. First, we'll take away ta, and then after that, we'll add there the vowel a. Minä haluan, sinä haluat, hän haluaa. Me haluamme, te haluatte, he haluavat. The example sentence for verb type 4 is I want to go home. Haluan mennä kotiin. Haluan mennä kotiin. The gradation of verb type 4 works the same way as in verb type 3, and it takes place in all the conjugated forms of the present tense. Thus, the basic form is always weak, while every conjugated form will be strong. Let's read these verbs together. To like, tykätä. Tykkään, tykkäät, hän tykkää. Tykkäämme, tykkäätte, he tykkäävät. It's worth remembering that there's a vast number of verb type 4 verbs that don't undergo consonant gradation. Let's move on to verb type 5. The ending of verbs is the vowel I and either ta or tä. So we'll have ita or itä. For example, to consider, harkita, to choose, valita, to disturb, häiritä, to earn, ansaita, to mention, mainita, to need, tarvita. Let's read these once again in Finnish. Harkita, valita, häiritä, ansaita, mainita, tarvita. When these verbs are conjugated, we'll remove the ending ta, tä, and then we'll add tse, tse, and after that we'll add the personal ending. For example, the verb to need, tarvita, we'll take away the ending, and then after that we'll add tse. Let's read these. Minä tarvitsen, sinä tarvitset, hän tarvitsee. Me tarvitsemme, te tarvitsette, he tarvitsevat. There is no KPT gradation in verb type 5, so basically this is all you need to know about the conjugation of this verb type in the present tense. Our example sentence is, do you need any help? Tarvitsetko apua? Tarvitsetko apua? And the final verb type is verb type 6. This is the smallest verb group, and there are not all that many verbs in this group. These verbs all end in the vowel I, that is e in Finnish, plus the ending ta, tä. So it's either eta or etä. Many of the verbs in this verb group present a state of change. For example, to get colder, kylmetä. To get longer, pidetä. To get shorter, lyhetä. To get warmer, lämmetä. There are also other kinds of verbs such as to escape, paeta, to fall silent, vaieta. Let's read these verbs in Finnish once again. Kylmetä, pidetä, lyhetä, lämmetä, paeta, vaieta. When using these verbs with different persons, we'll remove the ending ta or ta, and after that we'll add ne, ne, and after that the personal ending as usual. For example, the verb vanheta, to grow older. We'll take away ta, and then we'll add ne. Minä vanhenen, sinä vanhenet, hän vanhenee. Me vanhenemme, te vanhenette, he vanhenevat. The example sentence for this verb group is we all grow older. Me kaikki vanhenemme. Me kaikki vanhenemme. The gradation in verb type 6 works the same way as in verb types 3 and 4. You can see here that the gradation takes place in all the conjugated forms of the present tense. Thus, the basic form is always weak, while every other form will be strong. For example, to fall silent, vaieta, has no K, P or T, whereas in all the personal forms you can find K, which makes them the strong form. Let's read these verbs together. Vaieta, vaikenen, vaikenet, hän vaikenee. Vaikenemme, vaikenette, he vaikenevat. If you made this far of the video, I can only say congratulations, excellent dedication. I'll leave you once again with the example sentences, and if you want to learn more, take a look at the next video. It's about negative forms in the present tense, and I'll promise to make it a bit shorter than this one. Thanks very much for watching.